everybody. I'm your host, John Myers, live from Stillwater, Oklahoma. We have got a great show tonight. It's John Myers. Hey, everybody. Gotta have my notes. It's John Myers from the KICKER UnMasked studios. Gotta have my notes. Alternator. Hey, everybody. We have fun. Hey, everybody. Hit like and subscribe. Right here, right now. It's John Myers. We like to give stuff away. Alternator. Post some more pictures. We gotta thank Steve and Becky live from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Don't forget Texas Roadhouse right here, right now. Hey, everybody. Don't forget right here, right now. We have got a great show tonight. Hey, everybody. Had a great dinner tonight. It's John Myers. Right here, right now. Had a great dinner tonight. So, hey, everybody. So, housekeeping. Had a great dinner tonight. So, alternator. Housekeeping. Housekeeping. So, Tuesday night. Housekeeping. From the KICKER UnMasked studios. Housekeeping. Right here, right now. Hey, everybody. So, it's John Myers. Hey, everybody. It's John Myers from the KICKER UnMasked studios. Hey, everybody. From the KICKER UnMasked studios. It's John Myers. Right here, right now. We have got a great show tonight. Hey, everybody. We have got a great show tonight. It's John Myers. Hey, everybody.
Right here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Aaron Malin with the KICKER Tech Force. Thank you all for joining us on Valentine's Day. Yes, my wife made it abundantly clear that I was working on Valentine's Day, and of course so did my daughter. So here I am with you, ladies and gentlemen, instead of at home. So we're gonna have a great show because I'm in a hurry to get home, right? No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna have a great show anyway. Tonight we've got Jacob Lucky in the house. Jacob has built a nice little display. We're gonna talk about power bars. So we're gonna do a deep dive on power bars tonight. We also have JW, of course. JW brought us some dinner. Does anybody care what we have for dinner tonight? Because I did. I had sushi. It was delicious. It was miso. Our friends over at Miso made some nice sushi for us tonight. In addition, we've got Bill Frog. Of course, Bill Frog is working the keyboards. And naturally, we've got Ernie running the control tower. Now, tonight, we're going to tell y'all who won the MasterTech Expo seats. There's 2 seats we're giving away. Check your email because the winners have been emailed already, but we're going to reveal the names tonight, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to give away a couple more hats for the MasterTech Expo and a couple more t-shirts. Brian wasn't able to be here with us tonight. He did text us and say, I wish I could be there, but he had a conflict tonight, so we will not see Brian tonight, but the winners will get to hang out with Brian at the MasterTech Expo in Mesa. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with a fantastic Valentine's show.
It's been a long road since the original KICKER christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is KICKER.
Welcome back. And of course, Jacob has joined us. Jacob, say hello.
Hey guys, what's up?
That's about all you get out of him. So Jacob actually had a little project he was working on today, and his girlfriend is out of town, and so he decided to give her a very special Valentine's present because she was out of town. So Jacob, what'd you give her? What are you doing?
Well, so she drives a 2011 Toyota Camry, and she uses this little FM transmitter in the cigarette lighter to broadcast her music to her radio with a factory radio, factory speakers. Doesn't really sound all that good. And so I decided for Valentine's Day to upgrade her, and she's getting KSC speakers all the way around the car. So she's getting KSC 2704s in the front dash, KSC 6x9s in the front door and the rear deck. And I worked on that today and got all the speakers installed. And then later this week, she's going to be getting a hideaway under the passenger seat and possibly a new Sony radio. So
now, is she watching tonight?
Probably not.
Shocker!
Yeah.
So it's still a surprise for her, right? She doesn't really know yet.
Oh, so. I told her, yeah. So I had to tell her to borrow her car for the week. So, you know, it's like, hey, I'm going to do this for you. So can I borrow your car while you're out of town? So.
Okay, well, so now when I walked back to check on Jacob, because we had a pre-production meeting coming up, and I wanted to make sure Jacob was going to make the meeting. So I came back, and Jacob, you were busting your knuckles on a screwdriver. What was that about?
Yeah, so in the rear deck in that car, the glass is kind of angled in a way that it's really close to the rear deck, and you can't get a drill in there to save your life. The drill's just too tall. So what I had to end up doing was just bolt the speakers directly into the rear deck using some self-tappers, but I had to use a 90-degree screwdriver to get the self-tappers to run down into the rear deck. And you know, the rest of the installation took like an hour and a half getting all the other speakers in, and then the rear deck hung me up for another hour and a half by itself for 2 hours, just because I couldn't get the right angle with the screwdriver to get the self-tappers to go down into the deck. So it was...
Well, wait, there's added trouble. Remember, the first screwdriver went wah, 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 wah,
Oh,
wah,
yeah.
wah, wah.
So the first screwdriver I was trying to use had like a bent piece in it or something, so I couldn't even hold it steady. It would just throw the screw off over the rear deck somewhere. So had to get another one, and that one worked better, but it still took a while to get the screws to go where I wanted them to. So it was a pain.
Now, John Myers, and we all know and love, John cannot stand by and watch someone work on a project without jumping in. Of course, John has been in recovery, so he's not allowed to use his right arm. So John is foaming at the mouth, watching Jacob struggle, trying to help, but he's not allowed to do anything with his right arm for a while.
Yeah.
So it was a good scene. But so that project is, what, 70% done?
Yeah, it's like
done?
75% done. All I've got to do is toss the subwoofer in and then add the radio, and then she'll be good to go.
Now, last weekend, Jacob and I were in Las Vegas. We were at the Mira Knowledge Fest show, and there were some great companies there, manufacturers, reps there, and Jacob decided he also wanted to get a new head unit for his lady friend, shall we say. And so what did you choose for your head unit?
I think I'm just going to go with the Sony head unit.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, I've got a Kenwood in my truck and I like Kenwood, but Sony's the one to go with in this one.
Well, and they had a nice display. In fact, I took some pictures. Ernie, give me just a second, but get ready. I want to show some pictures from Knowledge Fest. This is a great event, and it is industry only, so unless you're in the industry, you're not allowed to go to this. But it's really a cool event. So I want to show you first up the Sony demo. Go ahead. So this is the Sony demo vehicle. Now, again, this is all inside a ballroom inside the Paris Hotel. So this demo was really cool because you can see it's a tricked out truck. It's a good looking truck. But then on the outside back here, they've got all their gear on display, and of course on the other side as well. So it's a really nice looking demo, and I'm sure that helped push you over the edge and which head unit to try.
Oh yeah, we were right next to the Sony guys in there, and they were all super cool, and we actually ended up helping them out with one of their displays. So,
So they come running over before the show is open. Hey man, you got any RCA cables? They shipped our display without RCA cables.
yeah, so according to the Sony guys, it was supposed to come pre-wired, and it didn't. So what we ended up doing was taking some RCA cables out of our display, like that we were going to put out in the packaging, and we ended up letting them use those RCA cables. So it all worked out in the end.
Which also might help seal the deal for a new source unit.
Oh, no, of course not.
So check out this. Kingpin Car Audio out of Las Vegas was at the show, of course. And this is a demo vehicle that they put together in their booth. And this thing is a really cool rat rod. Rat rod, correct? That's the right terminology for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool rat rod. And so I took a couple pictures of this, and just, I mean, it's authentic. You look at the plastic on the floor beneath it, that tells you it's authentic rat rod because it leaks like a sieve.
Yeah, don't want to ruin that nice 40-year-old carpet underneath the Paris.
Hey, it was freshly cleaned last month. And this is the system in it. Now, I thought originally these were subwoofers. These are not subwoofers, but just the attention to detail in this was beautiful. And of course, it's supposed to look like a still, and it's just a couple of rear fill speakers, and then those turbine looking things, which again, I thought they were subs, but they're not. But just a really nice install in that vehicle. This is another vehicle that caught my eye. This is a 4-seater slingshot. And of course, it's been stretched into 4 seats because normally they're just 2 seats. But this is a pretty cool install. Was it loud? Oh yeah, it was definitely loud.
It almost looks like camouflage on. Like in that first picture, I was having a hard time picking out what the shape of the vehicle was.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just kind of breaks up its, its form.
Like when you see a new car, they've got all pixelated stuff over it, so you can't tell what it looks like.
Yeah.
It does kind of go like that. So that was a cool install to check out. And this, now you're looking at this, you're saying, Aaron, that's a ukulele. Why is that cool? This is a 3D printing station. They were doing live demonstrations of 3D printing. They actually 3D printed this ukulele with all the details to match. And then, of course, they put strings on it so you could actually play it. But that was just showing off the incredible hardware they've got for 3D printing. This is Audio Frog. You may not have heard of Audio Frog. They're kind of new to the scene, but these are some really premium, nice-sounding speakers. And they had this Volvo here tuned with their audio system and a proprietary processor that they're working on. And wow, did this car sound amazing. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
No, but I heard some people talking about it. Apparently, it's got a center channel and an up mixer, and
Yes.
they use the up mixer to create a 2-seat tune in the car, kind of like what you would get from the factory and certain manufacturers' vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be like a perfect, tune in either seat, but it's like a really good tune for either seat, if that makes sense.
Yes, and some people call it a European tune. So if you're the driver, you've got an image dead center above the steering wheel. If you're the passenger, you've got an identical image, but it's right above you instead of in the middle of the car. So personally, it's not my style. I like center image in the middle of the car for both driver and passenger, but whatever, it's a great display of technology and tuning. Foxbox was there. A lot of you guys and girls, you probably know Foxbox. These folks build a really good aftermarket enclosure. And I'm sure there's probably a gajillion Kicker subwoofers in Foxboxes around the country. Really nice product, and they were on display there. This was just a cool car. I forgot whose booth this was. It was a couple hours from ours, but the paint job is just amazing. And this picture doesn't really do the paint job justice, unfortunately. But it's, what would you call that, like a patina job?
It's almost like a patina. So if you got up and walked up to the car, it looked like the metal had been etched with acid or something, and had clear coat thrown over it. So it kind of had drips going down the side where it looked like something had stained the metal, and then they threw clear coat over it. And me and Jeremy were talking about that car at the show, and he said something like, what's really cool about that vehicle is that it isn't a perfect vehicle. It's attainable for somebody like us, where there are some parts of the body that are a little bit messed up. It's not a perfect vehicle by any means, but it is really cool and really good shape, and the interior was very nice. They put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, beautiful build. This, of course, is our Fiat, and Jacob and I were doing demos in this Fiat for 3 days solid. And in case you forgot, this has a quad box in it. It has a 2400.1 powering the quad box, but it also has a Key 501 powering the quad box. You can do an A/B demo. And I will tell you, If you did not know that the Key 501 was powering the quad box, you would have no idea it was running off of 500 watts. It is brutal with that 501. But then you click over to the 2400 one and damn, the door just blow open. It's incredible. Great demo. What's that track you were demoing? Flume?
Yes, Amber by Flume.
Oh,
It's a pretty cool track just to show off the system.
Add that to your playlist right now. Amber Flume. Oh yeah, I showed you that truck here. This was another truck. There's a couple demos over from us, and they were showing off their custom unloaded enclosures. So they design and build enclosures for various models of cars and trucks. And what a kick butt display they had going on here too. Really premium gear. And of course that's inside that same pickup. I don't know who made that source unit, but that thing was beautiful too.
Maybe, who is that? Linkswell, maybe.
Linkswell.
That's what, yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
Linkswell, okay, yeah, that's good. Linkswell, nice job. That's a good looking source unit. DB Drive. DB Drive had a really good demo. Now, if you look through the side window here, you can see they've got a whole bunch of mid-range drivers, and I think there's a couple of tweeters in there. It's hard to tell.
Look like horn drivers or something.
Yeah, mids and horn drivers. And then, of course, they've got a wall of amplifiers. But then when you take a look on the inside, it looks a little like something sitting in our install bay right now.
Yeah, it's almost, looks very similar to a Bronco that we might know somebody that owns it.
And I will tell you, this thing got down. Wow. From our booth, which, I mean, it's not a huge convention center like the Las Vegas Convention Center, but it's a big space, and you could definitely feel the bass pounding in your chest from a few aisles away. So that was an impressive demo. Good job. Everybody know this man and his wife? Of course, this is Mr. Wayne Harris, DB Drag. He was representing his product, and man, what an incredible software package he's got. If you're into box building, check out TermLab, Term Pro. It is some really good software. He was doing some modeling for us. You can actually design a box, and in real time, you can move the port around, turn the box virtually, and it'll show you how close the port is to all the walls and the side of the woofer. Talk about amazing software. Wayne, you are a genius. Thanks for showing that off. And a really nice wife, too,
Yep.
Elise. Thank you.
If you guys don't know, if you call into tech support and you need some help with a box design, TermLab or Term Pro is actually what we use to run the numbers and get you custom box design. So if you've got maybe some particular tuning frequency you're shooting for, or you only have a certain amount of airspace where a recommended box size won't fit, we can use that program and spit out some numbers for you.
Port velocity, too.
Yep.
Give you port velocity.
Yep.
So very comprehensive software. Is that my last picture? Oh, no, there. Oh, yeah, so they also had some live classes, tweak and tuning classes going on in the hall where all the demo vehicles were set up. Of course, we turned off the demo vehicles when they were teaching, so to be respectful. But here they were talking about how to tune a DSP properly. And then here, you might recognize these two guys here. This, of course, is Dean, and that is his sidekick, Fernando. Or is Fernando the main guy and Dean is the sidekick? I'm never sure which is which. But they were doing, of course, crazy wiring, clean wiring, how to do that, and just some of their tips and their tricks. And of course, they have a few products, installation products as well, they were offering there for sale. And iRTA2, that is their little RTA interface box. That is a great product. We were using that for our training, our demonstrations. That's a good product too. So check those out if you're in the market for some tools for testing and tuning. So that was our experience. Jacob, what was the best meal you had in Vegas?
I don't remember what the restaurant was called, but I think it had to be that night where we went out with Dan to, what was that restaurant called, man?
The Asian restaurant.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
It was, I don't know how to describe it. It was really good. It was more than I would ever want to go eat at personally, but it was fantastic. It was a great meal.
So Dan is one of our vendor partners, and so part of his job is to spend money on us. And so he does that lavishly. So he took us out to a fantastic meal. His lovely wife was there. And Joe Hobart, you guys have met Joe Hobart on our show. He's our director of electronics for R&D. And so we all went out to dinner, and it was definitely in the top 5 dinners I've ever had in my life. And the next day, Joe comes walking up to Jacob, and he says, Jacob, I'm envious of you. You have had 2 of the best dinners of my entire life, and you've done it in 48 hours.
Yep. Yeah, it was there were 2 really good dinners. I'll say that. But Aaron, then what about that guy at the airport that was talking to you about on the way back about your outfit or your jacket that you were wearing?
Jacob did not get a picture or a video. So we're at Starbucks in the Las Vegas airport. We've been there for a long time waiting in security. So we're in the Starbucks waiting for our drinks. And I'm not joking. There's a guy sitting next to me, and he's dressed in...
Oh, he had like a forest green shawl over his head that had like brown stitching and a burlap sack for a shirt. He's dressed like a medieval peasant, and he
full beard.
Yeah, and he leans over to Aaron and he's like, "Man, that is a sick jacket you're wearing." And Aaron's got this like green, pleated coat on, and he's like, "That looks just like a gambeson." And he's like, "Where did you buy that?" He's wanting to get it for his like one of his medieval costumes.
Well, he says, because my gambeson.
Yeah, your gambeson.
My gambeson weighs like 45 pounds, so it looks like your jacket is much lighter. So, well, actually, it's a sweatshirt, and it is quite light, and it's a Bonobos brand. So, bonobos.com, and you can buy yourself one. The dude, while I'm sitting there, the dude pulls up oh, yeah, it's on sale, too. Thanks, dude. And he orders himself a sweatshirt. The strangest things happen, so...
Yeah, that was really, really odd.
Okay,
hey, it looks like we got a couple questions.
Oh, dude. Well, thank you. What's the first question? You're going to ask about dinner, aren't you? Are you tapping into the rear or front speakers to run the hideaway?
So I haven't decided yet which I want to do. I think I'm going to tap into the front speakers because I like to fade the system forward a little bit and kind of create, sort of like a front stage with some rear fill. So that way I'll get the strongest signal going into the hideaway. I haven't really concretely decided yet, but that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. It really just depends how easy it is to grab the front speaker signal versus the rear speaker signal. So we'll see.
This is a great question. I'm going to elaborate real quick. Back when I first got into car audio, a lot of source units would have a front and rear amplified output and then a rear only RCA output and an only faded with rear. And I always thought that's crazy because of what you just said. If I fade forward, I want the subwoofer to be the same level as my front speakers. So why would I then put it on the rear output? So if I fade forward, I lose bass. I just could never understand that, so I'm glad that you explained that. Next question. John Gotti, why won't Kicker make a head unit? We do make a head unit.
Well, I've got news for you. We got a couple KMC head units, a 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they fit all different types of budgets and all different types of applications. So if you just need a basic head unit, you want to go with the KMC 2 or 3. But if you have like a huge boat, like a yacht, and you need multiple zones of control and you have a NMEA network or an NMEA backbone you're trying to hook into, you'd want to get the KMC 5. KMC 4 is a good middle ground between those. It's got a lot of different features that the 2 and 3 don't have, like a zone 2 control. But yeah, we've got several different head units.
Thank you for asking. Did we plan that, John Gotti? Thank you very much. Great question. Was there another question, or should we? Oh yeah, Larry Keller. Will the 50x4 key amp run in active mode, mid on 2 channels and tweeters on the other, with the DSP?
Yep, so it has what's called bi-amp mode on that amplifier. And when you have it activated, you'll want the tweeters on amp 1 or your front channels and the mids on amp 2. You can't have them reversed. But what it does is it'll actively apply a crossover to the tweeters so that you don't blow them, and a crossover on your mids as well. So yeah, it will run in an active mode, but you're not able to adjust the crossover points. It applies those automatically.
In fact, that is the recommended method of running that amplifier. Mm-hmm. If in any install, if you've got even a factory installed mid and tweet in the front, we suggest you run that amplifier in bi-amp mode. Put all 200 watts to work on the front speakers because that's where you're sitting and enjoying them, and let the rear speakers run off to the factory power, or even disconnect them altogether because it gives you better front staging and imaging when you've got all that power and all the sound coming in front of you. So yes, excellent question. Larry Keller, is there a 5-channel on the way with DSP? Well...
No comment.
Next question, please. Chris, when is the replacement for the IQ KXA amps coming out? The new Warhorse is great, but does not have the tuning ability of the KXA amplifiers. So this is a topic of which you're tired of hearing, but it all goes back to pandemic. That series of amplifiers that you referenced should have been here by now. However, the problem is the chips that we need to make those amplifiers are also being used in the CXA and the KXMA, the KMA, all of our other amp lines. So we cannot do this product and cannibalize these key products in order to do these. So we had to make tough decisions. In fact, I think Joe mentioned this a couple of shows ago, Joe Hobart. We actually have 3 versions of CXA 4 and 800.1. There are 3 versions. Now you can't tell by looking at it, but we had to re-engineer those amplifiers twice each in order to keep production running, because as these chips ran out, we had to find new chips that we could supplement in those amplifiers, but we had to make the amplifier work around those new chipsets. So all that is to say, it's ready, we just can't build them yet. So thank you for asking. Other question, the notorious RVH. Good to see you again, sir. Is there going to be a replacement for the Q-class components, a component system? I think that's also another, we can't comment at this time.
Probably another no comment on that, RVH.
Yeah, but thank you for asking. We love the enthusiasm. Adrian, can I run the 1801 at a 1/2 ohm?
Maybe. It's not recommended, but if you have the electrical to back it up, and you know your box rise is wanting to work with you on that, then you might be able to get away with it. But it's definitely not recommended. Officially 1 ohm.
And there's actually no advantage to running at a 1/2 ohm. You're not going to get more power. In fact, the very stringent protection circuitry is going to work against you at 1/2 ohm, because the amplifier is going to be protecting itself from overcurrent as well as under voltage. So I would suggest actually going to 2 ohms or 1 ohm in that application. Now, quick difference between 1 ohm and 2 ohm. Unless you're competing in SPL, unless there's a microphone judging your system, the audible difference between 2 ohm and 1 ohm is almost nil. When you're listening to music and you're banging out 1 ohm versus 2 ohm, you're not going to hear the difference. So in my installs, I'd always go to the next higher impedance, because your reliability goes way up. Because even if you're clipping the output of your amplifier, you have so much less heat being generated because that higher impedance that you're much less likely to damage your voice coil, and you're drawing less current from your electrical system. So I would always go to the next highest impedance myself. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you have an 1801 in your truck?
Yep, I do. I'm running it at 1 ohm. So I have the electrical to support it, and so I wanted to go with the lowest resistance that it would take for the most power. So that's how I have it done. We
went to lunch yesterday in his pickup. You're going to see a video that talks about that just a little bit. But we went to lunch, and I had forgotten he only had a single 12. And I forget what track he put in, but it was like BAM! And just kicked me right in the kidneys. I went, damn! And I had to look behind me to make sure it's just 112. It is brutal with that 1800 watts on it. So yeah, go power.
Yep, comp Q.
Other questions. Curtis, ever thought of home audio such as powered subwoofer or speakers?
Yes. Many times.
Yes, in fact, probably 12 or 13 years ago, John Myers put together a mock-up of a home subwoofer. He used a Comp 12. He put a plate amplifier, like I think it's probably a 300 or 400 watt plate amplifier from Parts Express, and he mocked it up, put it together, put it in one of our listening labs up here, and then brought in a few people to listen to it, and it sounded fantastic. It was enough power. It got down, it played low, it sounded musical. It was a great exercise. The challenge is we would need a whole new staff of men and women to create a new division of Kicker to do that. And staffing up for something like that is very expensive. And there's also no guarantee that you'll be successful with it. Now, we know we have incredible products. We have incredible customers. Thank you, guys and girls, for being here with us tonight. But it doesn't mean you're going to be successful. And so it's a big risk. And I won't say never, because we do make PA speakers now. We've come full circle. But for right now, we do not have any plans to do that. Now, side note, we do offer the KB600 speakers on, I believe they're on Amazon.com, and it is essentially an indoor-outdoor all-weather speaker that has a 6-inch woofer and a horn-loaded tweeter in it, and that you could consider it a home audio speaker. It's a nice-sounding system, very modestly priced, like $100 a pair or something like that. So yes, we do have something like that. Stu's Custom Shop. Kicker, how about a 3-way set? Think those 2 3/4 would make a great mid-driver for a lot of newer factory applications.
No comment.
Something else we've talked a lot about, but yeah, so I won't say never, but I'll say not today. But thank you for asking, Stu. We appreciate that. Josh Holden, wait. If this is Holden Hot Wheels, hello, Josh. I think I know Josh. Josh, are you up in Montana? I think that's the Holden I'm thinking of is up in Montana. Just want to say I'm in the 115 dB club. Woo! Thank you. With 2 12-inch L7Ss in the dual 12-loaded enclosure with a Kicker 2401. Oh man, you believe in a lot of power. Well done, sir. Well done.
Hey, so what do you say we get to the power bar here?
Thank you, Jacob. We got on a tangent there. So Jacob, power bar, what's the purpose of a power bar?
Yeah, so the power bar is really designed to give you some music in like a all-in-one solution for a quad or a golf cart, any of those sort of outdoor vehicles that you have bars, a lot of bars on. As you can see, it mounts to them perfectly. But that's really what they're for. So they're designed to get dirty and wet and all that kind of thing, and won't cause any issues with them.
So it's an all-in-one audio solution for virtually any vehicle where you want audio and you've got a 12-volt electrical system. So as you said, a side-by-side UTV, ATV, golf cars. We've actually seen some on motorcycles.
Seriously?
I'm trying not to laugh, but yes, I've seen this on handlebars.
Probably this one.
Yep.
I can't imagine having that on handlebars. But
pontoon boats, these are great on watercraft, personal watercraft or larger watercraft. In fact, we have what's called broadcast mode, where you could have 2, 3, or even 4 of these. Let's say you've got a party pontoon boat, you hang out at Lake Havasu, and you want to put together a pretty simple, high-quality audio system. You could put 4 of these on a boat, and they can all play from a single source simultaneously. Broadcast mode.
Actually, we haven't found a limit to how many you can run in broadcast mode. It would come down to how many of these you're able to fit within the range of, the 100-foot Bluetooth range. So you could probably get 15, 20 of these to work together just fine.
Now, if your buddy also has a boat, and your buddy's got a boat, and your buddy's got a boat, if you've all playing the same audio system, like Jacob said, within 100 feet, you're all playing the same music from one guy's device. Hopefully that one guy's got good taste in music.
Yeah, hopefully.
So broadcast mode, party mode, of course there's 2 sizes. What's the difference in the 2 sizes?
So the larger power bar is obviously going to have more speakers in it. I think it has 2 more.
8 mids.
8 mids. Let's see. We got one here. So yeah, it's got 8 mids and 2 tweeters, and then the smaller version has 4 mids and 2 tweeters. So you've got double the cone area on the large one. Did I?
Oh. Oh. Sorry, Jacob was he was playing that
I guess I
karate game.
I elbowed my mic and muted it by accident. But anyway, so this one has 8 mids and 2 tweeters. I don't know where it got muted, and this one has 4 mids and 2 tweeters. So you've got double the mids on this guy than you do on the smaller one, the KPV1.
Wait, before we go let's show the video. Hey, Aaron, you got that video queued up? We want to talk about how waterproof these guys are. They're IP67.
6.6.
And thank you. They're IP66, which means?
They're resistant to high pressurized jets of water.
Which we're going to show you. Ernie, go ahead and roll that clip, please.
Hey, this is Jacob with the Kicker Tech Force, and we're going to be testing the IP ratings of the Powerbar. We're going to throw some various food products on it and then rinse it off to show you guys that this thing is water resistant. So we'll start out with some coffee creamer and just, you know, kind of sprinkle that crap on there. Get some inside the grill, all over the buttons. And then we'll do some ketchup. Get this thing open. Some mayonnaise. Some taco sauce. And finally some relish.
Mmm, delicious.
My hands are so slippery from this stuff that I can't get it open. I can't get the relish open. But, you know, honestly, we might have missed some with that hose, so I think we're going to take this guy to the car wash and make sure that we got it all.
Oh, that was fun making that video.
Yeah, it was a really fun video to make. And if you guys didn't notice, that power bar was playing while I was hosing it down with the pressure washer. And this is actually the same one that we used in the video, the same bar and everything. So
It's clean.
it doesn't smell like any ketchup or hot sauce, so I think we got it all. But
So I got to brag on Jacob for just a minute. So I texted Jacob Monday, that was yesterday. In the morning, I said, hey, Jacob, we had a cool idea for a video, and we never executed that. What do you think? He said, we can do that. I'll have it done by lunch. So sure enough, he comes back to my office an hour later. He says, Aaron, this thing's ready to go. Let's go film this video right now. And we did it. We shot it yesterday afternoon, edited it, and here it is live. So high five, buddy. Good guy right there. So yes, they are waterproof, and IP66, as Jacob said, you can hose them off at close range at the end of the day. So when you're hosing off your side-by-side, don't worry about the power bar. It can handle it, and that's the whole purpose of these IP66 ratings on these things, is they are brutal in what they can handle, and that's the point. So now let's show off these drivers. These are pretty cool drivers. So we got a close-up, Ernie? Or
I don't know if we have a close-up cam today.
I don't think we did that. Okay, so these are the drivers that are inside the power bars. These are 3.5-inch drivers.
Yeah, I think they're just 3-inch drivers, but they've got like a Santoprene surround and a polycone, and the basket's made of a similar material to our marine speakers. It's like a nylon basket, so it's not going to get corroded or anything if any water gets exposed to it. And on the back side of the speaker, there's a little rubber gasket that seals it to the front panel of the inside of the power bar as well. So no water is getting through these guys or past them into the guts of the power bar. And yeah, they're pretty durable little guys, and they're pretty sensitive too. These actually get way louder than you would expect. But it's important not to allow water in there for obvious reasons. And we've got these electronics inside. So this is the board, actually 2 boards. So the small board that you guys see on the front here has all of our buttons on it and our controls. Yeah, so Jeremy's got the close-up cam. See, all these are your buttons here, and then I believe that's the Bluetooth, or no, that's the DSP in the center. So if you look on the front side of the Powerbar, that's where this small board is going to be mounted, because that's where all your buttons are. And then the larger board is going to be the power board for all of your outputs. So you can see here's the plug where the speakers hook into, and on the back side here, we've got the chip amps that you can see right here. So little board, and I believe it's conformal coated as well. So if any water was to get inside this thing, it's not going to cause any issues with the electronics. So pretty cool little things.
Power-wise, tell us how much power that board is you're holding now. So that one you've got is 150.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, 150
RMS.
watts RMS, and then the larger one for double the amount of speakers is also going to have double the amount of power. So it's going to have 300 watts RMS.
Lots and lots of power. And what's so cool about these is they are physically bolted inside to the aluminum of the housing of the power bar, and that is the heat sink. So if you look at the back of this, there's very little heat sinking on this, because the housing of the power bar is actually the heat sink. So they have crammed a ton of power and features into the power bar and keeping it as small as possible, but also as reliable as possible. So there's a lot of technology going on inside here. And as he mentioned, they're conformal coated. Another thing about conformal coating, and I didn't realize this till I was talking to Joe, actually a couple of years ago now, but PCB boards, these are actually water absorbent. So in a water environment, even if the board itself isn't getting wet, it can absorb moisture from the air. So that conformal coating prevents moisture from being absorbed by that PCB board, printed circuit board. And of course, if it absorbs moisture, it expands, and that expansion knocks off parts. So of course, then you have an amplifier failure. So that's why they're conformal coated. And all of our marine amplifiers have that as well. And our marine amplifiers are also ABYC compliant, which is American Yacht and Boat Council. And that means that we take the stringent requirements of the U.S. Coast Guard and adapt those to building our products. So some of our products cost a little more than our competitors, but there's some reasons for that. And a lot of that is R&D, research, development, and engineering. So cool stuff to talk about inside. There's also a couple of tweeters. We didn't have tweeter samples to show you, but each power bar has a tweeter left and a tweeter right. So they are playing stereo signal in reality. Of course, they're so close together, you don't get a lot of stereo separation, but it is playing a stereo signal left and right.
Yep, and actually, just a fun fact, all of those chip amps are stereo chip amps. So technically, you have a left and a right output from each one of those chip amps, but the way that it's set up is the left and the right for these chip amps are playing the same signal, so it's going to be a right signal. And same thing for the left. They're also stereo, but they're all connected to the left signal. So it's kind of a cool little trick you can do even with regular stereo amplifiers. Just play with the inputs and you can get stereo or a mono output from a stereo amplifier.
In fact, you just wrote a tech brief on that, didn't you?
Yep.
What was that tech brief about, real quick?
It was about the input switches for all of our amplifiers, I believe. So whether they're called input switches or fader buttons or whatever you want to call them. So there's now a tech brief on how those work on our website. So.
And then another tech brief, I keep bragging on Jacob because he's awesome. Another tech brief you just wrote was about how to get a stereo signal from a 4-channel amp when bridged to 2 channels. Because that can be confusing if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep, again, it's playing around with your inputs to achieve that. So a lot of cool things you can do just by moving around your RCAs.
He makes it sound easy, but it's complicated. He's just good at it. So anyhow, oh, my computer is locked up. Here, please talk while I unlock my computer.
I have no idea what to say.
Oh no!
And he messed up his password, so now I have to talk longer.
Whoops. Okay. There, we're in. All right. So one of the things we also want to talk about is the mounting on this. So it comes with round mount for 3 different sizes of bar.
That's right.
So if you've got a really tiny bar or a thicker bar, we include 3 different sizes. And also, you can mount on a curved bar. Let's tip this. Can we tip it, or is it going to...
Yeah, we can probably tip it. If not, I mean, it's live. You guys know what happens.
Yeah. So you'll notice there's a curve to this bar. And the reason this is important is a lot of the side-by-sides and the UTVs have a curved bar on the top or the sides or the back or somewhere, wherever it is you want to mount these, the bar could be curved. And these will work up to 30-degree arc. Now this is about a 10 or 15-degree arc. So you can essentially double or triple this arc, and we can still articulate with our mount. So do not worry if you've got a curved bar, it'll still work, no problem at all. In fact, there are mounting points here. Sorry, I'm going to get in your personal space. There are mounting points right here as well as out here. So as long as you're getting 2 mounting points on either side, 1 on either side, you can mount this thing off-centered as well. So if you've got to get a little creative with it, you can do that, no problem. And of course, the smaller one has a single set of mounting points. But we also have mounting points on the bottom. So you can mount these from the top, like you've done here, or you could mount it like this on top of the bar. So you've got top or bottom, different mounting points on different sides, and up to 30 degrees articulation. So there's a lot of options to make these fit on your vehicle. Now, at our show that we just did in Las Vegas, we actually gave away a couple of these to some of the guys that came to our trainings. And the one guy, he was so excited. Chad, if you're watching tonight, good job. Thanks for winning. Thanks for coming to our training. He comes running up and he says, dude, I'm so excited. My store doesn't carry these, but I've often thought what a great idea to have in our store. And I said, well, what do you got for side-by-side? Well, I don't, but I'm going to put it in the shop. I'm just going to hook it up to a 12-volt power supply and put it in the shop. And of course, that is a great idea. If you've got a pickup or a shop or maybe a patio, all you need is a 12-volt power supply to power this thing up, and you've got an all-in-one music solution without even having to have a vehicle per se. So there's a lot of ways you can use these in many applications. And I saw someone said, hey, what about doing a center channel for a TV?
You could do that. You just need to have a 12-volt power supply to turn it on. It's not going to work off of the electricity coming from your wall directly. You're going to need something in between that converts it to 12-volt DC.
Hey, what's this wire?
That is a line out. So it actually produces a low-level output signal. So, you know, you can pair to this directly. I don't know if we mentioned that before with Bluetooth, but stream your signal directly to the power bar, and then it has a line out on it, so you can connect a subwoofer or another amplifier to it and play it in conjunction with the power bar. So if you want some more bass, you can do that. If you want to add more amplifiers, you can do that. You can use this as your source unit for the vehicle.
So you've got that 1800 one, you're powering a quad box, and then you've got one of these for your mids and highs, you're done. And this becomes your source unit. So basically all of your music is streaming here, and then out of here it's going to your additional amplifiers in your subwoofer, or maybe you want to add some 9-inch or 11-inch cans like that. You can do all of that with this power bar. There's also another plug here, I think it's the black one, and what's that one for, Jacob?
I think that's auxiliary input. So if you don't want a Bluetooth to it, or you have something else that you're using as your source unit, you can connect it to the auxiliary input and run this guy off of auxiliary mode. While we're talking about the different modes, Bluetooth auxiliary that it has, let's go ahead and show you guys what those modes look like while you're operating the power bar. So I'm going to turn it on, and you're going to hear one of our guys' voices, Aaron Surratt.
I was going to make a trivia question.
Oh, dang. Well, I messed that up, but...
So I didn't tell you beforehand.
So the light is blue right now, so that's telling you that it's in Bluetooth mode. To get it into pairing mode, you're going to press and hold the Bluetooth button, and it'll start flashing. Now, if you want to switch to auxiliary input, then you just press the Bluetooth button, and He's trying to talk over me.
Doing his own thing.
Yeah. So now the light's red to show you that it's in auxiliary mode. The red light is not a protection circuit. It's just letting you know that it's in auxiliary mode. So say you want to put it in broadcast mode, like we were talking about before, you'll press and hold the play pause button and the volume up button. You'll hear that noise and the light will start flashing blue and red. So that means it's looking for another power bar to go into broadcast mode with. So now I'm going to turn on the other one.
Power on.
And you're going to do the same thing, play and pause, but this time hold the volume down button to tell this power bar that it is going to be operating off of the signal coming from the first one. So let's do that. And so you're going to see now that the primary one will illuminate red or blue, depending on what source you're in. And the secondary one, and any other secondary ones that you have running off of this power bar, are going to give you a purple light to let you know that that's not the primary power bar. This one is, with the blue or the red light. So pretty cool how they work, and then it'll periodically flash to tell you that it's in broadcast mode. So again, the red light is not a protection mode. Some people think that it is, but it's just telling you it's in auxiliary.
Power on.
Hey, I saw a question up there. Ernie, there was a question, are there powered and passive options? No, they're only powered options. There are no passive options. If you wanted to add more speakers, like we said, you could simply add another stereo or multi-channel amplifier, and then you could add some of our passive CAN systems, but these are strictly powered. So thanks for that question. I just happened to catch it while you were talking.
K. Barrick wants to know, can you program it to say, "My name is Jeff"? You can. Do I know how? No. But I'm sure you'd have to have access to the software and the board and stuff like that.
I think Alex Winginger would say no.
Yeah.
And then he would walk away.
The answer is no officially.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. I saw some more live questions. Can you throw up a couple questions? We got a lot of talk tonight, so I want to get you guys in. Notorious RVH, hello again. Are the mounts quick release with easy availability of additional mounts? No, they are not quick release. That's an interesting question, but remember, once this thing is, we didn't talk about the power and ground. Once this thing is wired up, you've got a hardwired connection to the power bar and to your electrical system. So this is not a quick release, and it's also quite heavy, so we don't want the thing flopping around on a weak mount. So no, it is, once you install it, that's pretty much it, unless you whip out the tools and disconnect it for some reason.
Yep.
So no.
So they're held on by Allen head screws, and it's actually a two-part mount. You have the base, which connects directly to the power bar, and then your clamps, which go over and bolt to the base. And I don't think we mentioned it earlier, but we also have square mounts available for these.
Oh yes,
So to kind of answer the second half of that question, we do have different mount styles, round and square, and they fit 3 different bar sizes.
I guess we could throw that image up since we're on the topic.
Yeah, just to show you guys where it's at on the website. Aaron's going to get that pulled up on his laptop.
So right here, power bars, you have the PB2, the PB1, and then here's the square brackets. And there again, there are 3 sizes included. And those will go to square tubes. Most commonly, golf cars use a square tube. Mm-hmm. So this is how you would mount it to a golf car. And actually, there's a video of John Myers installing this on a golf car, which I think we saw it up here. But yeah, so yes, we do have square tube mounts as well. Next question.
Ooh, I want to interject one thing before. While we're talking about the mounts, I remember talking to, I think, Alex in R&D before these were released. And we actually did a lot of testing with these on a machine that will shake them for like 30 minutes, an hour straight of like vigorous shaking. Because we know you guys are going to mount these on your quads and razors, whatever, and go taking it off road where there's going to be a lot of vibrations. So we wanted to make sure that these are not going to back out, they're not going to come loose, and they're going to stay attached where you put them. So just a little tidbit.
Good side, good side. That question was 25 hertz to life. Brackets sold separately.
The square brackets are, the round brackets aren't. The round ones come with it, but the square ones are less common application. So yeah, they are sold separately.
Good question. Nice to see it, 25 hertz. Ryan, how much does each soundbar weigh? That's a good question.
I don't know.
Let's go back and
I'd
see.
say maybe like 10, 15 pounds.
Let's go to the manual. Let's see. Da-da.
It's a pretty good chunk of aluminum, but it's not like excessively heavy.
So the KBP2, the big one, is $8.99. And does it have a weight on it? 300 watts, we know that. Okay, I'm going to download the manual. I am going to find the answer. Hopefully it's in the manual.
I don't think it's going to be in the manual. That might be something we have to get you later as far as a weight. I know I can look up the shipped weight in our system, our Oracle system, but I don't think that's something we include in the packaging. Or
Weight.
is it? No, it is. Yeah, it is right
Wait,
there.
Specifications, weight. So the little one is
It's about
13.75 pounds. The big one's 22.5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So not obscenely heavy, but very compact. Good question. Thanks, Ryan. Next, Marcus, does the Powerbar have its own power supply, or do I need to have it hooked to a separate power source?
So I think what you're asking is, does it have an amplifier built in? And the answer to that is yes, it does. It has an amp built in. All the speakers are already installed. So the only thing that you need to get this thing working is a battery or a 12-volt power supply. And when I say 12-volt power supply, I mean like one of the guys that we're using right here that plugs into the wall and will give you like an 80 amp 12-volt output. So either a 12-volt battery or power supply.
You know, since you're asking, let's see, I've got the manual here. What's the current? Well, I know that the little one, 150 watts, is fused at 15 amps. So if you had a 10 amp power supply, you could legitimately power the little one, the PB1, with a 10 amp power supply. Because remember, with music, it's very dynamic in nature, so you're not drawing 10 or 15 amps constantly. So you could use a 10 amp power supply and this thing would play loud all day long. So good question. Next question. Chris, hello Chris. Do the L712Q class and L712X 12-inch physical dimensions vary much?
Yes, the L7X is going to be deeper, like mounting depth wise, than the Q class, simply because it's got two spiders stacked on top of each other, and then it has a triple stacked ferrite magnet, versus the L7Q class, which has a single spider and I think a double stacked magnet.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fair amount, you know, taller or deeper into the box. But as far as the mounting hole cutout goes, I don't think there's too much of a difference. So if you have the Q class and you're looking to upgrade to the L7X, which I think is where your line of thought is here, as long as your box is deep enough, you should be able to drop that in with little to no modification, assuming your baffle is strong enough to hold the L7X, because it's about 80 pounds.
We just did a reconing with a couple of the engineers. They took us through a reconing process so that we could learn it and then teach it. And that was actually a really good class. And I will say that Jacob smoked me on removing and replacing 16 screws. And it's not difficult, but if you don't do it right, you could get a misaligned voice coil. We make it pretty easy with those 8 little pins that you've seen in other programs we've talked about it. So yeah, it's a beastly woofer, but the fact that you can recone it in the field, boy, that's going to be a game changer once again.
And we should be having a video made on that eventually and putting it up on YouTube. So if you guys are curious how that process works, once that video is out and once we have shot it, we'll put it up and you can check it out.
We joked about doing it live for you guys and girls, but removing and replacing 16 screws, it just takes too long. So we're not going to do it live. Next question. Echo Outdoors, hello. So the X is available now? No, it is not. It is not yet available, but we are preparing for its shipping. We want to be ready with videos, ready with support, so that we can get it into your hands all as one package. But thank you for asking. Next question. Choke change is 4 the max limit? No lag. Oh, 4 of these. No. What did you say about how many of these you could pair in broadcast
Oh
mode?
yeah, you can. We haven't found a limit to how many you can put in broadcast mode. I don't remember what the number is that we've tested in-house together, but it's some crazy number like 10 or 15 that you would never have 10 or 15 in 100 feet, realistically. So I mean, whatever you can fit, you can get going in broadcast mode. And that's just it, honestly. There's no limit.
Yeah, and there's no lag because the primary is broadcasting to all of the secondaries, tertiaries, and whatever goes next to tertiary. It is broadcasting to all of them, so it's all the same signal to each one. So no, there is no lag. Good question. Thank you.
So if you, since these do have a DSP in them, so if you stack them using the auxiliary input, then there would be a little bit of a delay just because the second one in the chain needs to process the incoming audio signal. But broadcast mode, there's no delay.
Good point. Thank you. Next question. Eli. Hello, Eli. How is the anti-shock for it being banged around? That's what you were talking about, the paint shaker.
Yeah, they basically strapped it to a paint shaker on steroids and let it run for like 2 hours or something. I don't remember how long it was, but we're extremely confident that it's going to stand up to whatever abuse you guys can put it through. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera right now, but this one, and I don't even know how I got it, but it's got a pretty big dent right here in the corner of the aluminum and where it meets the grill. It looks like somebody hit it with like a, I don't know, a ball peen hammer or something. Yeah, but this was dented like that before we took it out and hosed it off with water and the pressure sprayer. So no water got inside of it and it didn't affect its operation at all. It
Indestructible.
just looks unsightly.
Next question. Ryan, hello Ryan. I think this is your second or third question today. Looking at installing the KMC3 or 2 head unit in my boat. Thank you. Can I control the volume from my phone when connected via Bluetooth?
I don't remember.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Now remember, your phone has about 12 steps of volume. The source unit itself has more than that. So if you want to use your phone, I would set the radio. I see KMC 2 or 3. Actually, I happen to know the KMC 2 and 3, they do not clip the outputs until the very last click on the volume, which I want to say it's like 40, something like that. So basically turn the radio all the way up and then turn it back one click, and that is your clean, unclipped output from the radio, and then use your phone device. And if you hit 12 on your phone, that's your max volume right there. So yes, you can. And thanks for choosing one of our radios. The only difference is square versus round. Other than that, they're electronically identical.
So something else that I would like to mention kind of on that point, if you have a KMC 2 or 3 and you want to control it with your phone because you're going to be moving to a different part of the boat, we make wired remote controls for those. So you can install like a KRC 15 or a KRC 55. I think the 55 is the one for the 2 and 3, but you can install that at like the back side of the boat. If you walk back there and you're fishing, you can reach down and adjust it there so you don't have to use your phone and you still have that fine control over the volume like what Aaron was talking about.
Hey Ernie, pull up my laptop real quick. I'm going to show Ryan the remote here. The KRC-12 right
KRC-12,
here.
that's it.
That's what he was talking about. You can add as many of these as you can fit on your boat, and they will control your KMC 2 or 3 radio remotely. And it is a wired remote, so you got to run cables to it. But basically, instead of having your phone in your pocket when you're on your boat, put that in a dry bag or a dry box and stow it away, and then you can just use these wired remotes to control the audio system. So good point. Do we have another question? Yes. Hello, Mr. Jager. Kicker, I need you to make my wife an entire car.
Yeah.
Well, are you a little late for Valentine's Day? Is that the problem?
Well, if you'd asked us yesterday, we might have said yes, but it's a little late now. So
Jacob can do anything in about 12 hours. So,
I wouldn't say that.
Jesse, what box do you guys recommend for your
For our Kicker Gold 12 series.
Kicker Gold 12 series?
So it's going to use the same box dimensions that we recommended for the KICKER subwoofers. So if you've got something built for the KICKERs, or maybe you're just looking at getting a box built for them, I'd say anywhere for like a 12-inch ported from like 2 1/4 up to like 3.6 cubic feet gross, or obviously smaller for the 10 or larger for the 15. So, all of those box recommendations, we have a small, medium, and large. They're listed in the product manual for the subwoofers, and those can be found on the website where Aaron is taking you right now. So it's going to be at the very bottom of the page.
Oh, keep going.
And right there, manuals on the left.
So right there, we'll download. Got the manual. Let's go to boxes. Let's see, box building notes. We want 10. Did he say ported?
He didn't specify.
Okay. I'm just going to assume ported, because if you're like us, you like big fat base. So let's go to, oh, here we go. That's box building notes. Okay, 3/4 inch, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to, there's the ported one.
Yep, so it's got some pictures, it's got some dimensions, all that good stuff for you. So if you're curious, you want to get more in depth on that, just check out the product manual and it should tell you.
Yeah, there's a cut sheet. There you go. You can also call the guys in tech support and they can help you design a box. Sometimes you want something a little customized, they can help you with that too. Like we say, we use Term Lab box building software, so we can model just about anything you need. So thanks for the question. Chris, is the Comp R and the Gold the same sub in different skin? So
nope, the Comp Gold is based on the Comp R, so they're going to be similar, like in terms of power handling and enclosure design and stuff like that, but the Comp Golds actually sound a little bit better than the Comp Rs, and it's due to the difference in cone geometry. So they actually sound a little bit smoother and play a little bit better, I think, than the Comp Bars do.
We were doing a listening test in the listening lab, and we did A/B with the Gold 12-inch and the Comp R. And I didn't hear a difference at all. But Jacob heard a difference. John Myers did hear a difference. I forget who else was in there, but
Bill Frog.
Bill
said
Frog
he
was
noticed
there.
A difference. A couple people.
And it might be because I've been doing this so long that I can no longer hear the difference.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Old guy tinnitus. But yeah, these guys said they did, so I have to believe them. Matt, is there going to be a Solo X8? I don't think we're allowed to talk about that.
I don't know. Probably. Let's go with no comment on that guy. So.
Yeah. Now, if we get Steve Irby on the show and you ask him that question, he might answer it for you.
Yeah, he might tell you.
But as of right now, no comment.
Anyone going to Lone Star Showdown? I may have my new box done by then. So I was going to be going, but John Myers has been wanting to go to that show for years and years. So I said, John, I'll let you have this one. So he's going to Lone Star Showdown, and he should be seeing you there.
Yeah, so definitely go talk to John and let John get some pictures of your install so he can come back to the show and show it off for you. We'd love to see that. So I think, man, that was a lot of questions. Are we on track? Are we off track? Where are we? What time is it? It's 8:30. Wow, this night is flying by. So Jacob, did we cover everything we wanted to cover on this?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Ernie, would you roll a commercial? I got to get some more water. Wink, wink. And we'll be right back.
Audio. For almost 50 years, we've been rocking the planet with our world-class product covering everything that drives you, whether in your car, truck, boat, motorcycle, side-by-side, or even on your head. KICKER Performance Audio's passion for bringing you your favorite music like you've never heard it before is what drives us. So wherever you need us, KICKER Performance Audio will be there for you.
think I forgot to mention, we're giving away a couple of more Master Tech Expo hats and t-shirts tonight. So if you are a winner of our weekly drawing, you also get some extra special stuff. First and second place, you get a hat, and then we've also got t-shirts. We've only got a limited number of t-shirts, so hopefully it's your size or your buddy's size or your girlfriend's size or your boy, whatever it is. Hopefully it's the right size for you. But we got some Master Tech Expo stuff to give away. But first, we need to talk about the tech questions of the week. So, Jacob, first question. I bought the 47 KSC 2704. That is the
2 3/4 inch small speaker with the different brackets for Chrysler, Toyota, etc. So,
they came with black cylinders in the packaging. What's the black cylinder for?
that's going to be the capacitor. So you're going to use that as your crossover. It's going to come with two spade connector ends. One side is a male, one side is a female, and you're going to put that in line on the positive wire going to the speaker, and that's going to prevent you from blowing it from a full range signal. So if you turn up the volume, there's a ton of bass in that signal. Those 2 3/4 inch speakers don't have a lot of throw, so you might end up overextending it, or if you clip that signal, you're going to burn those speakers out pretty quick. So that capacitor is going to prevent that.
Let me add to this question because earlier somebody talked about a Key 204 in biamp mode. Could you use biamp mode of a Key 204 to power these plus the bi-9s?
Yeah, you could. And it's going to apply a different crossover to the 2 3/4 than it would if it was a tweeter. So the amp will actually detect if it's a little bit larger speaker than a tweeter and apply a lower crossover. I think it's 500 hertz or something like that, versus the tweeter crossover, which is going to be closer to like 3200 hertz. So yeah, you could do that if you wanted to.
Good question, thank you. Next question. I have a KXA 1601 and it has been working great. Recently my bass knob quit working and now my subs aren't making my bass. What gives?
So those KXA amplifiers were awesome, but when those Bluetooth bass knobs died, the amplifier would default to the minimum gain setting until you paired the remote again or replaced the battery and paired the remote again, because it doesn't want to blow the subwoofers. It's kind of like a built-in protection measure. So if your remote died and you suddenly have no output, then what you can do to rectify that for the time being is go to the amplifier and push the pairing button, and that'll reset the Bluetooth memory and bring back your output until you can change the battery in your bass knob or get a new bass knob. And once you have that changed out and paired again, then it'll work like normal. But it's just something the amplifier does to protect the subwoofers.
Clever. That's clever engineering right there. Instead of having the throttle wide open, it's wide closed.
Yep.
Okay, question 3. I installed CSC 674, which is a 6 3/4 inch round speaker, CS series, in all 4 doors of my vehicle, but I have hardly any bass response and it sounds kind of harsh. Did I do something wrong?
Could be. That's usually going to be a phase issue. So if you didn't check the wire colors of the vehicle before you installed the speakers, or you didn't verify positive and negative and make sure that it's the same, or your speakers are all in phase before you installed them, then yeah, some of them could be out of phase, and that could be why you don't have any bass response, and that could be why it sounds kind of harsh. You're also going to notice that your sound isn't very cohesive because some of your speakers are playing opposite one another, to put it simply. So yeah, double check your phase, make sure that your wires are correct, and if you're still having problems, call tech support. But that's most likely what that problem is going to be, is phase.
A great way to visualize this is, imagine if you had a subwoofer enclosure with 2 8-inch drivers, 10-inch, 12-inch, whatever, 2 drivers side by side, and you had one of them wired out of phase. So basically when one is pushing, one is pulling. So they'd be working against each other like this, which is canceling the bass. So the only thing that's left is the screechy highs from the tweeters. So that could be what's going on, as your speakers are working against each other. So then when you swap the phase, now they're working together and you'll get fantastic mid-bass response from those 4 6-inch drivers. So that's really common, actually. We see that quite a bit. In fact, Joe Hobart, we were talking about this last week at their Knowledge Fest. It is quite common in some Chrysler vehicles. The front left door speaker is 180 degrees out of phase. The polarity is swapped from the right front door speaker. So the speakers are actually out of phase electrically, but then the signal is then inverted to put it back in phase, and they do this to get around a patent that I don't fully understand it. But basically, if you are upgrading electronics in a Chrysler vehicle, check that left front speaker for absolute polarity, because it may be wired out of phase in the plug, and that gets really confusing fast. So be sure to check for that. Okay, so we got that taken care of. Looking at my notes here, we did that. Oh yeah, pictures. We love picture time. Let me get these pictures. Ernie, get ready. We're gonna do, let's do fails first. Fails is probably not the right way to say it, but things not to do. Okay, go ahead and pull this up. Now, this is not necessarily a fail. This is just funny.
What's wrong with that?
It is a very ingenious car mount for an iPhone. So it looks like up here, this is what you slide your phone into. Here's your charging cable, and this is what a spackle, maybe a hardened spackle or cement or something.
I don't know.
And then this piece of wood is just shoved into it.
All I know is I'm pretty sure I had something like that in my '86 Camaro once upon a time. So
necessity is the mother of invention, right? All right, so that's the first one. So then this, actually, I think we've seen this before in a different picture, but...
you know, that may not even be a fail or something not to do. You know, some of the older installers might remember the days where you had to do that to eliminate, like, I think ground noise or something. I haven't had to deal with that personally, so I don't know. I think they're trying to make all of the grounds common with one another.
They're grounding everything to the chassis.
Yeah, exactly.
So you love the phrase, back in the day when I was young and installing. So it was really common for the radio, the aftermarket head unit, to have a pico fuse in the backside of the radio, and that pico fuse would pop. And so now the radio was looking for a ground signal through the RCAs at your amplifier. So it was basically using the RCA cables as a link to the ground of the chassis of the amplifier. So you'd get horrible alternator noise coming through the system. So this is one way that people tried to remedy that situation. Next up, this. I think this is an off-board, custom-built crossover.
Yeah.
For maybe factory-installed mids and highs?
That's what it looks like. It's hard to tell. Those might be capacitors on the ends and coils in the middle.
Caps and coils. And then, yeah, so this is some sort of a passive crossover network. It looks like it's mounted to a plexiglass piece here, almost the size of a license plate.
So it looks like they had plans of making it look nice, but maybe this is a in progress type thing.
Yes, maybe it is in progress. So here's another example of what we were just talking about, and this actually may be the same radio. So if this fuse here was popped and you didn't know it, you would get some noise from your electrical system coming through your radio, so then guys would try to ground all of these RCAs together to eliminate that noise. So fortunately, engine noise is pretty much a thing of the past, so this kind of stuff doesn't really happen anymore. But now let's look at some installs of the week. So some cool picks. So let's start with this one. This is a nice install using the factory, I guess, storage areas. This looks like it's probably a 300.4 and then maybe a DX 125.2.
Yeah, it's definitely DX of some sort. I'm not sure what model.
And then some kind of a processor. But it looks like when you fold those seats down, everything is hidden and flush and nice clean install. So looking good there. Next we have a really nice custom enclosure. It looks like it's a Z71, so it's a GM pickup. It's a Comp RT. It looks like is that a 10 or a 12? What do you think?
I really can't tell from this angle.
With that much airspace, I'm guessing a 12.
I know it's, yeah, I mean, it's also hard to get a 12 to fit under there, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
But it looks nice, so thanks for that submission.
ST series. Whoop, whoop.
Yay, our new ST series, our street series. We debuted these on this stage here a few weeks back. So these are street series. These look like, I'm going to guess these are 9-inch mid-range and then the 1-inch tweeter. So you've got dual 9-inch mid-range and one tweeter. And we actually designed this system so you could have one tweeter and two mids. And the output, the efficiency, the sensitivity of that one tweeter will match those dual mid-ranges. So these things are very, very hot. So that's your left and your right, and then it looks like probably 3, maybe 10s or 12s, not exactly sure there. So that would be a Rip Loudon system. Next we have, of course, the Gold series. Now actually I stumbled across this on Facebook myself, and I did not take note of whose vehicle this is, but if you're watching tonight, thank you. Beautiful install to the new Gold 12-inch, I'm guessing 12-inch?
Yeah, probably.
Looks like a sealed enclosure. Bet that hammers nicely, plays deep and low and loud. Now, we have seen this install before. This is an F-150 with 2 quad boxes, but in the past we didn't have this 150.92 dB in the inset there. So that is pretty cool install. I'm guessing the ports must be on the outsides.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're on the outside because right behind you with that quad box, the R is the port side.
R is the port side. Okay, so he's got both doors open, it looks like, firing out the doors. So, yay, 2 quad boxes in F-150. Nice job. And this, here's a series of pictures. So this is the enclosure partially built before it goes into the bed of the pickup. And you'll see down here, this is the blow-through. So this is where the port, the vent, is going to be cut through the wall, the back wall of the pickup, through the back firewall into the passenger compartment. So this is what we call a blow-through. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it looks like 6 12s. Now let's go to the next picture. So these are CVX 12s, 6 of them. And this here looks like, no, I think, yeah, so the front of the box is here at the front of the picture. And of course, that's the pickup it's going into. So the final picture, here it is installed. Here is the blow-through. So the 612s are in the bed, firing through this port. It looks like we've got 4 1801s, perhaps?
Yeah, that looks like that's what that is.
That's going to get down, and some Street Series 9-inch mid-ranges.
Or, you know what, I think that may be 3 1801s, and then, you know what, I'm not sure.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's a lot of kicker power. Let's hope they did the electrical system to match, because that is a really nice install. And then one more set of pictures. These were sent by Ernie. Check this out. Take a look at, this is an S10 pickup. Guess what size those woofers are? I guessed 15s. Take a look at this. Clamshell, classic kicker, 6 15s in a blow-through through the rear window of an S10 pickup. This is very much 1986, 87, 88, 89, 90. The mini trucking era S10 pickup. Love this install. Whoever did this, thank you very much. It is beautiful.
Looks like Andy says it's Scott McAllister.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Andy, for calling out Scott. That is beautiful. Nice looking system. Hopefully you'll get to hear it. Actually, you're not going to LST. Never mind. Hopefully John will get to hear it at LST, because that's a beautiful install. Okay, let's talk about some events that are coming up. We've got a few fun things to talk about. Let's see, we are here. First of all, Miami Boat Show. The Miami Boat Show is going on in Miami. That was not a trick question. And Carlos Jimenez is there. Carlos with the Kicker Tech Force, he's there. A bunch of other kicker personnel are there. And this is an amazing event. If you're anywhere near Miami and you want to check out an incredible show, boats for days, beautiful boats. And of course, we've got some kicker audio systems being represented out there. Also coming up is our first flat track event, Daytona Short Track in Daytona Beach, Florida. And this is going to be a fantastic event. It's the first flat track event of the year. So if you're into loud, fast motorcycles, you're definitely going to want to check that out. That is going to be a great event. And if I'm not mistaken, our very own Lauren is going to be there. Hey, your screen is frozen because I'm... Okay, just keep talking. All right. So anyway, I'm talking about Flat Track. You can't see it, but the Flat Track is coming up March 9th, Daytona Beach, Florida. So check out that event. There's also a whole grip of base wars coming up. I mean, look at this. I guess you can't see my screen right now, but there are a ton of base wars coming up. So if you're in any of those areas, Kicker's Facebook, you can check out all of the events on the events tab. Check out Base Wars, support those guys and girls. Just go there and have a lot of fun. Even if you're not going to compete, just support the guys and girls that are competing and have a great time with a bunch of cool people. So those are the events coming up. Let's talk prizes. Now, tonight, we're giving away 2 seats to the MasterTech Expo. As I said earlier, Brian could not be here to help us out. He has a conflict in his schedule. He's also 2 hours behind us, so there's a lot going on for him. But we do want to give away those 2 seats, and the winners have already been emailed, so please check your email. If you entered, check your email now, because the winners have been put out, notified. And Bill, are you ready to give us the 2 winners tonight? Okay, Bill, give us the 2 winners for MasterTech Expo. Preston S. Brennan A., Ontario, Canada. Brennan A., you're going to love going to Mesa, Arizona in March. It is much nicer than being in Ontario, Canada in March. So Brennan A., well done. Brennan, if you're watching, contact Bill Frog. He will get you the information you need to go to that event, and you're going to have such a great time. Who's our next winner after Brennan A. from Ontario? Next winner is... Just keep talking. Okay, Bill. Oh, okay, so going too fast. Slow down, Aaron, slow down. Talk slower. So Brennan, again, contact Bill Frog. He will get you the information you need to go to the MasterTech Expo event, and certainly stop by and talk to the Kicker crew. Jacob's going to be there. John Myers is going to be there. Tim Smith's going to be there. Josh Fletcher is going to be there.
Yep.
A bunch of us are going to be out there because that is such an important event. And remember, this is an industry event, but it's also for non-car audio guys and girls. You could just be a car builder or a fabricator or an upholstery specialist, and you can still go to MasterTech Expo and have a lot to learn because it's all aspects of car modification. So there's going to be a lot of great things out there. And I believe, yes? The other winner
Is Craig O.
Craig O.
from Schenectady, New York.
Schenectady, New York. Craig O. from Schenectady, New York. Craig, you're also going to love going to Mesa, Arizona in March because Schenectady is about as cold as Ontario. You're like neighbors right there.
Is that a real place?
Yes, Schenectady is a real place. Slap, slap. Yes, Schenectady. Craig O. from Schenectady, New York. Check your email. Contact Bill Frog. You are the second winner. So there's the 2 winners. Okay, let's talk about the other contest winners for tonight. Let's start with winner number 3. Winner number 3 gets EB400s, 2 koozies, an UnMasked t-shirt. And who's winner number 3? Delvis M. from Tennessee. Delvis, you're winner number 3. Thanks for participating tonight, Delvis. Appreciate it. Winner number 2. Who is number 2 tonight? James O. from Wisconsin. James O., you are winner number 2. So you get the Tabor 2 headphones, you get 2 koozies, a t-shirt, and you're going to get either a red or a white hat. Whichever one Bill puts in the box, you're going to win. So you're getting a hat in addition to the other prizes. Oh yeah, and a t-shirt. Of course, we've got some MasterTech t-shirts. So this is the MasterTech Expo t-shirt. Brian left these for us to give away with the winner tonight. So James O., you're also getting a t-shirt, so give us your sizes. And the first place winner is Preston S. from Texas. Preston, you are the number 1 winner. You're getting a bullfrog, not a Bill Frog. You're getting a bullfrog, an bullfrog. That threw me off. You're getting a bullfrog speaker, Bluetooth speaker. You're getting 2 koozies, a t-shirt, and you're getting one of these hats, whichever color Bill puts in your box. So those are the 3 winners tonight. Thank you guys and girls for playing along with us tonight. And be sure, Andy's after show. Andy, you're doing after show tonight. Andy, please respond. Yes, Andy, you should be doing an after show, so please tune into Andy's after show tonight. And also next Tuesday, tune into Kicking It with Andy. Andy has prizes. Andy has stuff you can win. Andy has the gift for Gab. He's a great talker. He has a really good show. Living Loud with Andy on YouTube. Kicker Club on Facebook. So be sure to like and subscribe to his properties as well as ours. And our next UnMasked show, Ernie, you ready? Our next UnMasked show is Tuesday, February 28th. So 2 weeks from tonight. I think John Myers is going to be in the house because I'm going to be out traveling somewhere. So you'll have John Myers doing something fun. And I think Jacob's going to be there too because you guys are working on something fun together.
Yeah.
So yeah, we probably don't want to, oh wait, did Bill tell us to talk about that? Let's just say we're going to give away something extra ultra special in 2 weeks on February 28th. So something extra ultra special that you're really going to want to tune in to win. So Ernie, are you ready? Because we are landing this plane. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.